The giant alien ship appeared without warning in Earth's sky on a Tuesday morning. It hung there, dark and silent, bigger than anything humans had ever built. People all over the world looked up and felt fear. Tai-Ho Kim was eating breakfast when his phone rang. As a top officer in the Earth Defense Force, he knew a call this early meant trouble. "Colonel Kim, you need to come in now," said the voice on the phone. "They're here." Tai-Ho didn't ask who they were. Everyone had been waiting for this day. He grabbed his jacket and ran out the door. At the command center, screens showed the massive ship. It was shaped like a disc with strange lights glowing around its edges. General Park stood in front of the main screen, his face tight with worry. "They sent a message," said the general, pointing at a smaller screen. "It's in all Earth languages. They call themselves the Voth." Tai-Ho read the message. "People of Earth, we are the Voth. We have conquered 17 worlds. Earth will be our 18th. You have 7 days to surrender." "Have we sent a reply?" asked Tai-Ho. "Not yet. We wanted you here first." Tai-Ho had studied alien contact for years. He knew more about possible alien life than almost anyone on Earth, but all his studying hadn't prepared him for this moment. "We need to learn more about them," he said. "Ask them for a meeting." 3 hours later, the Voth sent more information. They shared pictures of themselves and details about their bodies. Tai-Ho sent this data to his friend, Dr. Yuna Park. Yuna was the best scientist who studied alien life. She called Tai-Ho back quickly. "This is amazing," she said, her voice excited despite the danger. "The Voth have very different bodies from us. They evolved in space with low gravity. Their muscles and bones are weak compared to ours." "How does that help us?" asked Tai-Ho. "They have spaceships and weapons we can't match." "Look at this," said Yuna, sending a file to his tablet. "They can't walk for long periods. Their bodies use energy badly when moving under gravity. They get tired very quickly." Tai-Ho studied the files. Humans had evolved as hunters who could chase animals until they got too tired to run. Human bodies could cool down by sweating and keep moving for hours or even days. The Voth couldn't do this. They moved in short bursts, then needed rest. "They think they're better than us because of their technology," said Yuna. "But they don't understand what human bodies can do." The next day, a smaller Voth ship landed in an empty field outside Seoul. Tai-Ho led a team to meet them. The aliens came out wearing metal suits that helped them stand in Earth's gravity. The Voth leader was named Grektal. He was tall and thin with blue-gray skin. His eyes were large and dark. When he spoke, a machine translated his words. "We have studied your weapons and technology," said Grektal. "You cannot win a war against us. Many worlds have tried. All have failed." Tai-Ho looked at the aliens. Even with their support suits, they moved carefully, as if walking was hard work. He remembered what Yuma had said about their weak bodies. "We would like to suggest something different," said Tai-Ho with a small smile. "Not a war. A challenge." Grektal's head tilted to one side. "What kind of challenge?" "One that will show the true strength of our species," said Tai-Ho. "Something simple that doesn't use weapons or ships." "We are listening," said the alien. Tai-Ho smiled more widely now. The Voth didn't know what humans could do. They weren't ready for the walkers of Earth. "Let me tell you about a little thing we humans do," he said. "We call it endurance walking." 3 days after the aliens arrived, Tai-Ho and Yuma stood before the Voth delegation outside Seoul. The aliens wore metal suits that helped them stand in Earth's gravity. Even with these suits, they moved slowly and carefully. Grektal, the Voth commander, sat in a floating chair. He looked down at the humans with his large dark eyes. "You said you have a challenge for us," said Grektal. "We are curious what you think could save your world." Tai-Ho stepped forward. The sun was warm on his back. He felt strong and steady on his legs, while the aliens needed machines just to stand. "We propose a simple test," said Tai-Ho. Not with guns or ships, but with our bodies. A test of who we are. The aliens looked at each other. Their thin faces showed confusion. What kind of test? Asked Grektal. Yuma spoke up. A walking contest, from Seoul to Busan. Grektal made a sound like quiet laughter. Walking? That is your challenge. Yes, said Taiho. No machines, no weapons, no help. Just walking, step by step, until we reach Busan. One of the other aliens spoke to Grektal in their own language. Their voices sounded like birds singing. Then Grektal turned back to the humans. How far is this walk? He asked. About 500 kilometers, said Yuma. The aliens seemed to relax. They had traveled across stars. What was 500 kilometers to them? And what are the stakes? Asked Grektal. Taiho took a deep breath. Everything depended on this moment. If we win, you leave Earth forever. You never come back, and you tell others to leave us alone. The aliens waited for more. And if we win? Asked Grektal. Then Earth is yours, said Taiho simply. Grektal looked surprised. You would risk your whole world on a walking contest. We would, said Taiho, because we know who we are. The aliens talked among themselves again. They checked something on small computers they carried. Taiho guessed they were looking up human walking speeds and abilities. We accept your challenge, said Grektal finally, but we have conditions. Each side will send 6 walkers. The first team with at least 1 member to reach Busan wins. Agreed, said Taiho. And no technology, added Grektal. We will remove our support suits. You will wear only simple clothes. No machines to help either side. Agreed, said Taiho again. When do we start? Asked the alien. 2 days from now, said Taiho. At dawn. As the aliens left to prepare, Yuna turned to Taiho with worried eyes. Will this work? She asked quietly. They agreed too easily. They think they're stronger than us, said Taiho. They've won 17 wars with their ships and their weapons, but they've never faced humans in a test of endurance. That night, the news spread around the world. Humanity's fate would be decided by walking. Some people thought it was crazy. Others understood the plan. Taiho met with the other 5 humans who would walk with him. One was Ji Woo, a famous runner from Busan. The Voth don't understand what they've agreed to, said Ji Woo as they prepared. My grandmother walked 10 kilometers to school every day as a child. It was normal for her. Another walker, Da Jung, nodded. My family were farmers. We walked all day in the fields. It's in our blood. The Voth think walking is simple, said Taiho. They don't know that humans evolved to walk and run longer than any other creature on Earth. We can sweat to stay cool. We can keep going when other animals must stop. That night, as the world held its breath, the 6 human walkers rested and prepared. Taiho looked out his window at the stars. We're coming, he whispered to the distant points of light. 1 step at a time. The day before the walking challenge, the world was busy. News about the contest spread to every country. People everywhere talked about the 6 humans who would walk to save Earth. Taiho and his team trained in a big gym in Seoul. They stretched their legs and tested their walking shoes. Doctors checked their hearts and muscles. Drink plenty of water, said Dr. Yuna as she gave each walker a medical exam. Your bodies will need it for the long walk. Ji Woo, the runner from Busan, walked on a machine that measured his steps. He had won many races before, but nothing as important as this one. How fast should we walk? He asked Taiho. Not too fast, said Taiho. We need to keep a steady pace that we can hold for days. This isn't a sprint. It's about who can keep going the longest. The 6 human walkers were chosen carefully. There were 3 men and 3 women. Some were runners, some were soldiers, and some were just everyday people known for their strong determination. All of them understood what was at stake. Da Jung, a farmer with strong legs, packed simple food in his bag. My family has walked the land for generations, he said. I will not let them down. The youngest walker was Sunhai, a college student who had hiked across Korea 3 times. I'm scared, she admitted to Taiho. But I'm also ready. Across the city, the 6 Voth aliens were also preparing. They had removed their support suits as promised. Without the suits, their thin bodies struggled under Earth's gravity. Their movements were slow and awkward. Yuna watched videos of the aliens practicing. Look how they walk, she told Taiho. They take quick steps, then need to rest. They haven't figured out how to save energy. Will they make it to Busan? Asked Taiho. I don't know, said Yuna. But I think they'll start strong and get weaker. Their bodies just aren't made for this. That evening, Taiho met with his team for a final meal. They ate rice, fish, and vegetables to give their bodies fuel for the journey. The path is marked, Taiho explained, showing a map. We'll follow the old walking trails when we can. There will be rest points every 50 kilometers, but we don't have to stop at them. What about sleep? Asked Minji, another team member who worked as a mail carrier. We'll take turns, said Taiho. 3 walk while 3 rest in the support van. But the van can only carry us, not move us forward on the path. The team talked about their plan as they ate. Outside the window, they could see people gathering in the streets. Some held signs that said, "Walk for Earth and humans keep going." The whole world is watching, said Jiwoo quietly. Just focus on the path, said Taiho. 1 step at a time. Later that night, Taiho couldn't sleep. He stood by his window, looking at the stars. Somewhere up there, the main Voth ship waited. Did they already think they had won? His phone rang. It was Yuna. I just saw something interesting, she said. The Voth are packing lots of pain medicine. I think they know this will hurt them. Good, said Taiho. That means they're worried. Are you scared? Yuna asked. Taiho thought about it. Yes, he said. But humans have always done scary things to survive. Our ancestors walked out of Africa and spread across the world. They crossed mountains and deserts. Walking is in our blood. As the night grew late, Taiho finally lay down to rest. Tomorrow at dawn, the greatest walk in human history would begin. One journey would decide if humans would remain free. The last thing he thought before falling asleep was simple. Keep walking. Never stop. The sun was just starting to rise when both teams gathered at the starting line in Seoul. Thousands of people came to watch. The air felt cool and fresh as dawn broke over the city. Taiho and his 5 teammates wore simple clothes, light shirts, comfortable pants, and good walking shoes. They each carried a small bag with water and food. The human team looked calm and ready. The 6 Voth aliens stood nearby. Without their support suits, their tall, thin bodies swayed slightly in the morning breeze. Their blue-gray skin looked almost like it was glowing in the early light. They wore strange, tight clothes that seemed to help their muscles. Grektal, the Voth leader, approached Taiho before the start. May the best species win, he said through his translation device. May we all learn something today, replied Taiho with a small bow. A loud horn sounded, and the walk began. The crowd cheered as both teams started moving south, out of the city. Camera drones flew overhead, sending pictures to billions of people watching around the world. The Voth surprised everyone by moving quickly at first. Their steps were light and fast, and they took an early lead. They're trying to show off, said Jiwoo as he walked steadily beside Taiho. They don't understand pacing. Let them go, said Taiho. This is not about the first hour. It's about the last day. The human team kept a steady pace of 5 kilometers per hour. It was a comfortable speed they could maintain for a long time. They walked in a loose group, sometimes talking, sometimes quiet with their own thoughts. By midday, the Voth were about 3 kilometers ahead. But Yuma, who followed in a support van with doctors and water, noticed something. They're already taking more breaks, she told Taiho over a small radio. Their walking style uses too much energy. The day grew warmer as the sun climbed higher. The path took both teams through small towns where people lined the streets to cheer. Children handed out flowers to the human walkers. The Voth did not seem to enjoy the attention. They kept their eyes on the path and didn't speak to the crowds. By late afternoon, something was changing. The Voth team was slowing down. Their quick steps became less bouncy. Their breaks became longer. The distance between the teams began to shrink. "Their muscles are getting tired," said Daejung as the human team kept their steady pace. "They don't have the right build for this." Sun Hai, the young college student, nodded. "Humans can walk all day. My grandmother still walks 5 kilometers every morning, and she's 85 years old." As evening approached, the teams had covered about 60 kilometers. The Voth were now stopping every 15 minutes. Their movements looked painful. The lead they had built in the morning was almost gone. "Should we pass them now?" asked Minji. "Not yet," said Taiho. "Keep the same pace. Save your strength." When darkness fell, the path was lit with small lights. The Voth team finally stopped at a rest point. They sat down heavily, their thin legs shaking. Their breathing was fast and shallow. The human team kept walking. "Aren't you stopping for the night?" called Grektal as the humans passed by. "No," said Taiho simply. "We'll keep going." Grektal looked confused and worried. "But it's dark. Time for rest." "Humans don't need to stop when it gets dark," said Taiho. "We'll take turns resting. 3 walk while 3 sleep in the van. Then we switch." The Voth leader watched the humans continue down the path. For the first time, his large eyes showed something new: fear. As night fell completely, the human team was now in the lead. Stars appeared overhead, and a cool breeze blew from the mountains. "One day down," said Taiho quietly to his team. "Keep walking." By the morning of the 3rd day, the walking contest had changed. The human team was now far ahead of the Voth. They had walked through 2 nights, taking turns to rest in the support van. Taiho's feet hurt. He had blisters, and his muscles were sore, but he kept walking, 1 foot in front of the other. The other human walkers felt the same pain, but they did not stop. "How far have we gone?" asked Jiwoo as the sun rose on the 3rd day. "About 200 kilometers," said Taiho. "We're almost halfway." The support vans followed both teams. Doctors checked the walkers when they took breaks. Yuna watched the Voth team with worried eyes. "They're suffering badly," she told Taiho over the radio. "2 of them can't continue. Their feet are bleeding and their leg joints are swollen." The Voth had not been ready for the challenge. Their bodies, made for the low gravity of space, could not handle days of walking under Earth's pull. Their thin legs could not support them for long periods. By midday, news came that a 3rd Voth had stopped walking. Only 3 of them continued, now far behind the human team. Sun Hai was walking with Taiho when they heard the news. "I almost feel sorry for them," she said. "They came to take our world," Daejung reminded her. "They've taken 17 other worlds before ours." "Still," said Sun Hai, "no one should suffer that much." The humans kept their steady pace. The weather turned bad in the afternoon. Rain fell in heavy sheets, making the path muddy. The walkers put on raincoats and kept moving. Taiho's legs felt like they were made of stone. Each step took effort, but his mind was strong, and he knew how to push through pain. All humans learned this skill early in life. "Keep walking," he told himself. "Just keep walking." By evening, the human team reached a small town. People stood in the rain to cheer them on. They handed out hot tea and fresh socks. The kindness gave the walkers new energy. "The Voth don't understand this," said Minji as she changed her socks during a short break. "They don't know how humans help each other." As night fell again, Yuna brought shocking news. Grektal, the Voth leader, was the only alien still walking. The other 5 had all stopped, their bodies too damaged to continue. "He's in bad shape," said Yuna. "But he won't quit. His pride is too strong." Taiho thought about this. The Voth had always won with their technology. They had never needed physical strength or endurance. Now they were learning a hard lesson. "I want to see him," said Taiho. Against the advice of his team, Taiho took a ride in the support van back to where Grektal was still pushing forward. The alien walked with a terrible limp. Each step looked like torture. Still, he kept moving. Taiho got out of the van and walked beside the alien. "Why do you continue?" asked Grektal, his voice weak through the translator. "You've already won. My team has failed." "Because that's what humans do," said Taiho. "We don't stop when things get hard. We keep going." Grektal was quiet for a moment as he took another painful step. "We thought you were weak," the alien said finally. "We saw your simple technology and thought you were not advanced." "Different species measure strength in different ways," said Taiho. "We evolved on a planet where we had to chase our food and walk long distances to find water. Our bodies remember this history." The alien nodded slowly. "I have learned much from this defeat." "It's not about winning or losing," said Taiho. "It's about understanding each other." Taiho offered the alien some water and pain medicine. Then he returned to his team, who had kept walking through the night. "The Voth will leave Earth," Taiho told his teammates. "But I think they're leaving with more than they came with." "What's that?" asked Jiwoo. "A new kind of respect," said Taiho. "And maybe a new way of seeing the universe." By the 5th day of the walking contest, news had spread far beyond Earth. The 17 planets that the Voth had conquered were watching closely. They saw humans doing something amazing, winning with just their bodies against an enemy with better technology. The human team was now more than 300 kilometers from Seoul. They were tired but still moving steadily. Their bodies hurt, but their spirits were strong. Grektal, the last Voth still walking, was now 40 kilometers behind them. He moved slowly, each step clearly painful, but he would not quit. The Voth never learned how to lose with honor, Yuna told Taiho as she checked his feet during a short break. Grektal is learning that lesson now. As the human team walked through another small town, people came out to give them food and fresh water. Children ran alongside them for short distances. Old people bowed as they passed. "The whole Earth is with us," said Sunhai, smiling despite her tired face. In space, something important was happening. The main Voth ship received messages from other worlds they had conquered. These planets had seen how humans kept going when faced with a challenge. They began to question Voth rule. On the 5th night, when the human team stopped for a meal, Taiho got a call from General Park. "The Voth ship is getting signals from all over their empire," said the general. "We can pick up some of their messages. The other planets are starting to resist." "Because of our walk?" asked Taiho, surprised. "Yes," said the general. "They're saying if humans can stand up to the Voth, maybe they can too." Taiho thought about this as he ate his rice and soup. What had started as a simple contest to save Earth was now changing the whole galaxy. The next morning, as the team started walking again, they saw something new. Small flying robots with cameras were following them. These weren't Earth cameras. "The other planets want to see us," said Jiwoo, pointing at the robots. "They're sending their own cameras to watch." Throughout the day, more camera robots appeared. The 17 conquered worlds were all watching the humans walk. They wanted to see beings who could match the Voth with just their natural strength. "Keep walking normally," Taiho told his team. "We're not just walking for Earth anymore. We're showing something important to the whole galaxy." By evening, Taiho made a surprising decision. He asked the support van to take him back to Grektal again. The alien was still moving, but barely. His blue-gray skin was now pale, and his legs shook with each step. "Why come back?" asked Grektal when he saw Taiho. "To help you," said Taiho. He handed the alien a special cream for his feet and a drink that would give him energy. Grektal looked confused. Why help your enemy? Because that's also part of being human, said Taiho. We compete, but we can also show kindness. The alien took the gifts after a moment of thought. Your species is strange, he said. You can be so strong but also gentle. As Taiho walked alongside Grektal for a while, the camera robots flew around them, sending images across the stars. The picture of a human helping an alien, even after all the Voth had done, was powerful. When Taiho returned to his team that night, he told them what he had done. Was that wise? Asked Dajung, helping them. I think so, said Taiho. We're not just showing the galaxy our strength. We're showing our heart. That night, as the human team slept in shifts and kept walking, messages poured in from around the world. People everywhere were proud of what they were doing. The simple act of walking had become something much bigger. How much farther? Asked Minji as the moon rose high in the sky. About 150 kilometers to Busan, said Taiho. We're getting close. And then? Asked Sunhai. And then, said Taiho, looking up at the stars, everything changes. On the 7th day of the walk, Grektal could not continue. His body, made for the light gravity of space, had reached its limit. He collapsed on the path, unable to take another step. Medical teams rushed to help him. They carried the alien to a nearby hospital. Yuna went with them to make sure Grektal received proper care. The human walkers were now just 100 kilometers from Busan. Victory was close, but they were very tired. Their feet were covered in blisters. Their legs ached with each step, but they kept moving forward. We've won, said Jiwoo as they walked. The Voth have all stopped. We haven't reached Busan yet, said Taiho. We finish what we started. That afternoon, Yuna called from the hospital. Grektal wants to talk to you, she told Taiho. Taiho took a short break and used a video screen to speak with the alien. Grektal lay in a hospital bed, his thin body looking smaller than before. Machines checked his vital signs. Why? Asked Grektal simply. Why can you keep going when we cannot? Taiho thought carefully before answering. Our bodies evolved differently, he said. Humans learned to hunt by chasing animals until they got too tired to run. We call it persistence hunting. We can sweat to cool our bodies and keep moving when other creatures must stop. Grektal was quiet for a moment. We never valued physical strength, he said finally. We thought technology made it unnecessary. Different skills matter in different places, said Taiho. Your people are amazing in space, but on a planet, under gravity, humans have certain advantages. The alien nodded slowly. We've been conquering the wrong way, he said. We measured the wrong things. As Taiho rejoined his team on the path, he told them about the conversation. I think the Voth are starting to understand us, he said. The human walkers continued through the afternoon. The path now took them through beautiful countryside. Rice fields stretched out on both sides. Mountains rose in the distance. Birds sang in the trees. Earth is worth walking for, said Sunhai as she looked at the view. That evening, as they stopped for a meal, they got unexpected news. The Voth ship in orbit had received orders from the Voth homeworld. The conquest of Earth was canceled. The ship would leave soon. We did it, said Daejung, his tired face breaking into a smile. We saved Earth. It's more than that, said Yuna, who had rejoined the group. The Voth High Command is worried. The 17 worlds they conquered are all rebelling now. The Empire is falling apart. The team was quiet as they thought about this. Their simple walk had changed the balance of power in the galaxy. Should we stop walking then? Asked Minji. We've already won. Taiho shook his head. No, he said firmly. We walk to Busan as promised. We finish what we started. As night fell, Yuna had more news. Grektal had asked to be taken back to the path. He couldn't walk anymore, but he wanted to watch the humans finish their journey. He says he wants to learn from us, said Yuna. He says the Voth have much to learn about different kinds of strength. The human team walked through the night, their path lit by the moon and stars. Camera robots still followed them, sending images across the galaxy. Billions of beings on many worlds watched the humans walk. I never thought walking could mean so much, said Jiwoo as they passed the 400-kilometer mark. Walking is how humans first spread across Earth, said Taiho. It's how we explored our world before we had machines. One step at a time, we covered the whole planet. As dawn broke on the 8th day, the skyline of Busan appeared in the distance. The end was in sight. The 6 human walkers, tired but determined, picked up their pace slightly. Almost there, said Taiho, feeling a surge of energy despite his exhaustion. Let's show the galaxy how humans finish a journey. The morning sun shone brightly as the human team walked toward Busan. They could see the city's tall buildings in the distance. After 8 days of walking, they were almost home. All 6 humans were still walking together. Their clothes were dirty and their bodies were tired, but their eyes were bright with pride. They had walked almost 500 kilometers to save Earth. People began to line the roads as the team got closer to the city. They cheered and waved flags. Some cried happy tears. Children ran alongside the walkers, laughing and singing. Look at all these people, said Sunhai with wonder in her voice. They're here for you, said Yuna, who walked beside them now. For all of you. News cameras followed the team as they entered the city limits. Screens around the world showed their progress. Even the alien camera robots still hovered nearby, sending images to distant planets. As they walked through the outer parts of Busan, something unexpected happened. A car stopped near them, and medical workers helped someone out. It was Grektal. The alien could barely stand, but he had come to see the end of the journey. I had to witness this, said Grektal through his translator. My people need to understand what happened here. Taiho nodded to the alien with respect. Then he turned to his team. Let's finish this together, he said. The 6 humans linked arms and walked the final kilometers as one unit. Their steps were slow but steady. Each movement brought them closer to the finish line that had been set up in the center of Busan. Streets that were usually filled with cars were now packed with people. They made a path for the walkers and cheered as they passed. Music played from speakers, and flowers fell from windows above. I never thought walking could make so many people happy, said Daejung, looking around in amazement. It's not just the walking, said Jiwoo. It's what it means. We stood up for our planet in our own way. As they turned the final corner, they saw a huge crowd waiting in the main square. In the middle was a simple white line painted on the ground, the finish line. Together, said Taiho, and the team walked the last 100 meters in perfect step with each other. When they crossed the line, the crowd erupted in cheers so loud they seemed to shake the buildings. The 6 walkers hugged each other, some crying with relief and joy. General Park stepped forward with a communication device. On the screen was the captain of the Voth ship in orbit. As agreed, we will leave Earth in peace, said the alien captain. The contest is over. You have won fairly. Thank you, said Taiho. We hope to meet again someday as friends, not enemies. The captain looked surprised by this. After a moment, he nodded. Perhaps that is possible, he said before the screen went dark. Grektal approached the human team with small, painful steps. He held out a thin hand to Taiho. I have learned more in these 8 days than in all my years exploring space, said the alien. My people thought we understood the universe. We were wrong. Taiho shook the alien's hand gently. Everyone has different strengths, he said. That's what makes the galaxy interesting. Grektal handed Taiho a small device. This is a communication link to our worlds, he said. When you are ready to walk among the stars, call us. The galaxy should know the walkers of Earth. As evening fell, the 6 human walkers sat together, watching the sunset over Busan. Their journey had started as a simple contest to save Earth. It had become something much bigger. What do we do now? asked Minji as stars began to appear in the sky. Taiho looked up at the points of light that now seemed closer than ever before. "We keep walking," he said with a smile. "But next time, we walk to the stars." 1 year after the Great Walk, Earth had changed. The day when humans walked to save their planet was now a holiday called Walker's Day. Children learned about it in school, and people everywhere celebrated by taking long walks together. Taiho stood at a window in the new Galactic Communication Center in Seoul. The building had been built where the walking challenge had started 1 year ago. From here, humans now talked with beings from other worlds. "Are you ready?" asked Yuma, who stood beside him. She wore a formal suit with a small pin showing the human footprint. "I think so," said Taiho. "It's hard to believe how much has changed." They walked together to a large meeting room. Inside waited representatives from 23 alien species. Some looked like the Voth with thin bodies and large eyes. Others were very different, with strange shapes and colors. Greg Tal was there too. The former Voth commander now led something called the Galactic Peace Council. After returning to his home world, he had told the Voth leaders about what he learned on Earth. The Voth had stopped conquering planets and started talking with them instead. "Welcome, friends," said Taiho as he entered the room. "Thank you for coming to Earth." The meeting was about sharing knowledge. Each species had different strengths. Some were good at building spaceships. Others knew how to grow food in harsh places. Humans shared their knowledge about endurance and determination. The Voth Empire no longer exists. Grektal told everyone. "The 17 worlds we once ruled are now free. We are all equal partners in the galaxy now." After the meeting, Taiho took the alien representatives outside. A special event was happening in the streets of Seoul. The other members of the walking team, Ji-woo, Da-jung, Sun-hai, and Minji, were leading thousands of people on a remembrance walk. "This is how we celebrate now," Taiho explained to the aliens. "By walking together." Some of the aliens joined the walk, moving slowly among the humans. They wanted to understand this strange activity that had changed the galaxy. Later that day, Taiho met with the Human Council that worked on space matters. They showed him plans for a new kind of spaceship. "We call it the Walker," said the lead engineer. "It's designed to travel between stars, but in a new way. It moves slowly and steadily, using very little fuel, like a human walking through space." "How long would it take to reach the nearest star?" asked Taiho. "About 15 years, said the engineer. "Much slower than Voth ships. But it will get there, step by step, the human way." That evening, Taiho walked in a park with his old team. They did this every month, walking and talking about their memories. "I got a message from a child on one of the former Voth planets," said Sun-hai. "They're teaching walking as a sport now. They call it Earth-style movement." Everyone laughed at this. What seemed so normal to humans was amazing to other beings. "The universe wasn't ready for us," said Ji-woo, "for something so simple as walking." As the sun set, Taiho looked up at the darkening sky. Soon the stars would appear. Those distant points of light no longer seemed so far away. "What's next for you?" Da-jung asked Taiho. "You could do anything now. You're famous across the galaxy." Taiho smiled. "I'm going to be on the first walker ship," he said. "When we reach the stars, I want to step onto a new world and feel it under my feet." "Always walking somewhere new," said Minji with a laugh. "That's what humans do," said Taiho. "We keep moving forward, one step at a time." As night fell completely, the group looked up at the stars together. The galaxy was open to them now. New worlds waited to be walked upon. New paths stretched out before them, across the vastness of space. The walkers of Earth were ready for their next journey.